Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back. It is time for another Starcraft 2 AlphaStar replay cast. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty of it. There is probably... Oh, I can actually see it just now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4... Okay, there's maybe like 10-ish, 10, 12-ish replays for the lower iterations of AlphaStar, and then we'll be getting into the Grandmaster ones, which is exciting. And shortly after that, that'll be it for AlphaStar for the most part on the channel. So, let's just introduce the star himself. As we're getting down in replays, it's AlphaStar playing Terran today on the map New Repugnancy. Gonna be taking on a Diamond Zerg. And yeah. Alpha Terran, always fun to watch. I think the AlphaStar style plays pretty interestingly into Zerg styles because Zerg is generally more defensive for the most part, and so it's always fun to see players try and defend against AlphaStar's harassment. And if a player can get to that later stage against AlphaStar, yeah, and we'll see if this Zerg is gonna be one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how there is 3 prongs on the letter E that is capitalized, let's try and go for 3 likes on this video. If we can blow that away, that would be absolutely awesome. And of course, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, Starcraft every day, and that's gonna continue for the foreseeable future. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride getting onto the YouTube train. Been on it pretty much since AlphaStar really started taking off, but even before then, I was doing like a lot of Starcraft commentary, things like that. And I didn't feel like I necessarily needed to do a video every day, but then I got into the habit of doing an AlphaStar one every other day and another Starcraft 2 one every other day, and that really kept it with a nice variety. And yeah, let's take a look here, talking about the actual game. Enough of me rambling. There is Reactor on the way, Factory on the way after the Reaper for AlphaStar. 6 Lings are on the way for the Diamond player. AlphaStar's Reaper is going to jump on up. The Diamond player has yet to start his Queen in his main, interestingly enough. He starts a Queen at his natural, but not at his main. And that's very, very bizarre. There's that extra Queen, but oh boy, already quite a big mistake. The Zerg player has got out his 6 Zerglings, but yeah, already delaying his main Queen is no good. No third base on the way just yet. But this does not instill a lot of confidence. And oh, the drone for the Diamond player. Is it going to make it to the hatchery? Does AlphaStar block it? Yes, it does. So good block by the AI. Lings do almost get a surround on that Reaper. The drone cancels. Does want to build that hatchery. The Reaper almost boxing itself into a corner. Could maybe get the drone. Does it get the drone? Yes, it does. Great Reaper micro by AlphaStar. Showing us that the AI does have very good control and a pretty darn good understanding of what to do with that Reaper. Following up the Reaper, the couple of Hellions moving across the map for AlphaStar. The third is getting established by the Diamond player, but he's already feeling the hurt a little bit, and he is indeed hurting himself quite a bit. He's already up to 500 minerals. He's floating. That's not what you want to do sub 4 minutes into the game. Lings for the Diamond player are reacting to the Hellions, and he did clean up the Reaper, so good defense there by the Diamond player. However, he's hurting himself with his own macro. Already up to 700 minerals. He has not really started up anything else. We need to see a humongous round of drones get started up. Probably a couple of creep queens. Hell, even if you're banking this much money, throw up a 4th base. It's one of those things. It's like you gotta spend the money somewhere. And now we take a look at the Diamond player. He is doing his thing, while AlphaStar is also doing AlphaStar's things. Funnily enough, there is a Queen, or pardon me, not a Queen, we're talking about AlphaStar here. Stim on the way for AlphaStar. A Raven has been made by the AI, not something that we see the AI make too often. It usually is the earlier iterations that do utilize units that we don't necessarily see as much in the later iterations. Like, the later AlphaStar almost never built a Raven. But it's interesting to see how it sort of has an understanding of how to use the units. that it just decided not to, or that it didn't decide, but that it ended up not using later on in AlphaStar iterations. For example, like, it just used that auto turret to work away on that Overlord, so it understands, in a sense, that auto turrets can kill things, and that it could utilize that to push away the Overlord. Did it actually kill it? No. Is it what the best use of that turret is for? Usually no. But it is pretty interesting to see the AI throwing up double Liberators, double eBays, playing a pretty greedy style off the back of its third base. And yeah, that's just something that I find pretty interesting still. The fact that we don't necessarily see AlphaStar make a ton of Liberators, make Ravens. What else? It peters away from the mass air style that we've seen in the past, so less Vikings than the AI does. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that AlphaStar has forgone some of these units at different levels of play. Now, we take a look, 1-1 is on the way for AlphaStar, all the while the Zerg player has gone for that fourth base already, so I actually don't mind that, but he's only sitting at 50 drones, and we should probably be seeing a few more pop out. There is Combat Shield on the way for the AI, Stimpack on the way, the bioproduction's starting to kick off. Floating buildings left, right, and center, getting that starport out, so it'll be able to make that double medivac production. And then just extra barracks and such being produced. Third base on the way for the AI. There's the classic AlphaStar wall, not having it fully sealed. Concussive shell is on the way, just lots of bioproduction going on. Okay, AlphaStar just decided to cancel that add-on that it was building, the reactor, and just decided to swap onto that one. So that's pretty interesting. The AI going for the 4 barracks. Infestation Pit is on the way for the Zerg. The Zerg playing very greedy, but fortunately hasn't been harassed by AlphaStar really at all this game, until this Liberator's going to be coming out. And so we're actually seeing a Roach Warren and a Nidus network on the way with an Infestation Pit for the Diamond player. So there's a good chance we'll be seeing Nidus Swarm Host, if I had to imagine. And we'll see how well the AI is going to react to this style. The Zerg's got quite a bank, so he'll be able to make a good number of Swarm Hosts. However, as I say that, he does just spend some money on a fatty amount of roaches. AlphaStar's moving out with an odd amount of Marines, 10 Marines in all, going to be going for an attack. Just full send, boys. Good luck with this one. They're rallied up that ramp a little bit, and then they're going to back up, but there they go. They stim up the ramp. They're heading towards the third base. Roaches are doing an alright job stopping the Marines, and as more units come in, these Marines not going to get a ton done. They focus down a few drones. Questionable attack from AlphaStar. that is one of the just AlphaStar things, that's for sure. All the while the Liberator actually gets 8 kills of harassment. So 12 drones have gone down in all this game, not bad at all. That Liberator actually got 8 kills, then got out without a single scratch. And so the Zerg player, he is doing okay. He's starting to fire up some Swarm Hosts, but not enough. He's going up to 6, really having a big gas shortage for the time being. And oh, there we go. The Liberator from AlphaStar is still being used, gonna get set up at the third base. More harassment going down. The Zerg needs to transplant one of the Spore Crawlers from his main, but he's busy focusing on an attack towards AlphaStar, which seems a little bit far-fetched. Widowmine's going off, as the Zerg player is going to be getting pushed back by the AI. This Liberator's still harassing at the third. Spore Crawler is building that'll help deal with this. Few Swarm Hosts popping out, I believe 6 in all, but AlphaStar seems to be doing pretty well with just its bioproduction. More barracks on the way, 2-2 on the way. A fusion core is on the way. I wonder what that's for. Advanced Ballistics or Battle Cruisers. I'm happy to see either. The AI throwing up sensor towers, as the Diamond player decides to throw up 22 drones, which I do like. Replacing those workers lost, get that economy back on track. The question is, will he build up a big enough army to hold off an attack from AlphaStar later on in this game, which definitely should be coming. The Zerg definitely needs to get his gas mining back on track. Not mining from this extractor. The extractors at the fourth base aren't taken, and when he is playing such a mineral buoyant style, floating a lot of minerals, the Zerg player really needs to get on top of that. He's clearly got a bottleneck that he needs to take care of. Okay, Spire is on the way for the Zerg, Hive on the way. AlphaStar does throw up the 4th command center, starting to push out with the bio. Got a good chunk of it, Hellbats, Widowmines and all, a pretty strong bio force. The Zerg players got Swarm Host, 7 Ravagers, and that's about it to defend against this. So the Diamond player could be about to die with a ton of resources. He's dropping down Crozabal, is going to try and scare away AlphaStar, tries to get Crozabal down on a Widowmine, but I think he completely misses that. And now we see AlphaStar just starting to push on in. The Zerg player with 3,200 minerals in his bank. He's going to drop a wave of Locust. There's the AlphaStar overstim on the bio, but bio's pretty darn good against Locust, particularly that small amount. As the bio overstims again, maybe it could have been cleaned up, as AlphaStar really not understanding at this iteration that it only needs to stim once, really. And definitely overstim just a little bit. Just stim to win. That's the consensus the AI came to. And so, yeah, GG. The Diamond player taps out. Travesty dying with 3,500 minerals, but that's just the way she goes. Okay, so turns out it's pretty hard to beat AlphaStar when you're floating 3,000 minerals. So if you want to beat this AI, don't float 3,000 minerals. There's your life pro tip, guys. Anyway, in the bottom right, this time playing Protoss, it is AlphaStar. AlphaToss. And in the top left-hand side, we've got a Masters Zerg. So stepping it up from the Diamond Zerg, changing up the matchup. Let's see some crazy cheese Masters Zerg. I want to see a 2-base Hive against AlphaStar, 2-base Ultras. Let's go. Something crazy like that is what I want to see. Maybe you can crash the AI. Who knows? That would be certainly an achievement. Now, Probe moving out for AlphaStar after dropping that gateway. The assimilator is on the way. And yeah. Just normal openings, though, from both these players. No surprise there. Okay. Probe moving on out. Doing probe stuff. You know, the usual We have got an extractor on the way for the Masters player. Gonna be dropping down a spawning pool, too. So very, very standard opening. Probe for AlphaStar is gonna come on in and say, hey. Or maybe the AI will talk like, beep boop. Hey. Everything's normal. I can't do a robot voice. I'm gonna have to work on that one. Okay, Cybernetics Core is on the way for the AI after the Nexus, of course. Probe is long distance mining. This is one of the interesting things that the AI does with its probe, is that it doesn't, there's sometimes like 1 or 2 workers that are doing questionable things, like long distance mining when that probe could have just been mining in the main still, then eventually added into a gas. So I find that interesting, as usually there's also this probe on its way home sometime after that. The Masters player throws up a 3rd base very, very quickly, goes for the 1 queen into the 3rd base, and then should be able to start up a speed pretty soon after, pulls all but one of the drones out of that gas. And I do honestly like this play, as having the 3rd base early on, I think is probably something that's very good at the lower levels, as that's kind of why in the last game, why I said, just throw up a 4th base, why not? As you kind of benefit from those investments more than the pros who try and hit every timing, bang on, bang on, bang on. And so it's, yeah, I do like the fact that the Zerg goes for that 3rd base, have lots of larvae and everything at his disposal. He's now making 6 lings to deal with the Adept that's going to be coming his way. He's got the 1 queen out. He'll have another 2 popping out relatively soon. And all should be well. AlphaStar, however, oh boy, it's been a while since we've seen this build, and I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. It's just the build that totally just wrecked Zerg. It's actually been quite a while since we've seen this. The multiple Adept into Prism, into sometimes DT's build, that really just wrecked Zerg faces, as these 2 Adepts are going to shade on into the natural base. Ling does manage to tie up one of the Adepts. The drones run away. Good timing from the Masters player. We'll see if he cues those to go back to work right away. Drones now running away from these Adepts. Other Queen in the main base trying to help on out, but we are going to need to see more Lings get made by the Masters player, as these Adepts are thinning their numbers out while also thinning out the drone count. The 2 Adepts still alive, able to get their shots off, and the Zerg player already starting to take pretty big losses. 6 drones for 2 Adepts. Not to mention the 5 Lings is a very good trade for AlphaStar. There's another Adept moving on in, and we're actually going to be seeing the Prism come on in too. So this could just get more and more ugly here for the Masters player. We'll see how he's going to handle potentially a Ling counterattack. But, I mean, Warp Gate's done, or will be done in just a second, so a couple more Adepts can be warped on in. The Twilight Council's on the way. Overlord is just hovering over all these gateways, so the Zerg player really should be panicking a little bit about that. Knowing that there's already 6 gateways out for the Protoss really rules out a fast third base. And so there's going to be aggression coming. It's a Twilight Council from AlphaStar, probably into a Dark Shrine, I imagine, but this could always be like Glaives or something. There's the Dark Shrine, though. A lair is on the way, but oh, it's actually charged, pardon me. Silly me. Lair is on the way, but I am still rather concerned for the Masters player. He has made a good number of Lings to deal with the Adept harassment, but I really do prefer Roaches when it comes to dealing with this. Really, anything definitely is a step in the right direction, though. Unlike some players we've seen just straight up die to this, the Lings are doing a good job staying underneath the Prism too. So the Masters player is actually doing a rather good job staying on top of the Prism of AlphaStar. If we actually pull up the APM tab, he's actually rocking a pretty high APM. And not that APM's really indicative, but I'm starting to see that this guy's probably decently high up in Masters. He throws up a Hydra Den, fires up 11 drones, feels he's been safe, and oh, he must have actually just been tipped off, maybe just realizing that the Dark Shrine's right underneath his Overlord, which AlphaStar didn't try to hide at all, or just realizing that there's the gateways or the third base timing, which he hasn't actually seen. But throwing up the Spine Crawlers is a sign of worry that something's coming his way, so I guess it must just be the gateways he feels that's tipped him off, the Archons, the Chrono Boost, so he's a little bit worried. He's making 2 Spine Crawlers, and he's actually firing up Hydras already, so very, very quick Hydras, which aren't too common in the meta anymore. But oh, take a look at this, 2 DTs, and an Adept being warped on in. There is no Spore Crawler, but there's an Overseer, which is a really good step in the right direction, and this is one of the best defenses we've seen so far. Knock on wood, not to jinx this Masters player, but look at this, Adepts working away on the Lings, starting to thin out their numbers, and this is where things can quickly descend into chaos. But seeing as how there is the 2 Spine Crawlers, that really negates the Zerg being pulled apart by this attack of AlphaStar, and so far the Masters players held on. AlphaStar feels the need to transition up, firing up a Disruptor +1, getting the cannons up, defending the base, and the Zerg player can take this into a longer game now. 6 Overlords are on the way for the Zerg as he gets a little bit supply blocked. He's also making quite a few Hydras, which is nice to see. There's a chance that this could just be into a big old counterattack, which I'd honestly be fine with for the Masters player. I'm not sure if AlphaStar would be a little bit greedy at this point or what. The Disruptor is going to be a little bit worrisome, but we haven't actually seen, I think, enough of AlphaStar using Disruptors, how well it understands how to use those for zoning purposes and stuff. We see the DTs coming on in. However, there's the Spine, the Overseer, helping deal with this. Prism actually gets recalled to get away from the Queen, and the Masters player is just making Hydras and Lings, so this is going to be a big, scary attack, and there's a chance that this will just roll over AlphaStar. I mean, this is going to be a nasty, nasty Zerg attack. There's 17 Hydras out, which are definitely going to require a Disruptor hit or two to thin out their numbers to manageable portions for the Protoss, because otherwise it's really just charge lots for the most part. The Archon being morphed is a really big addition. AlphaStar actually going to be morphing in another one is an even bigger addition. So all of a sudden, this attack not looking as potent for the Masters player because Archons are just that good against Hydras and Lings, but here we go. In go the Hydras. Does he split against the Disruptor? The answer is not good enough. He doesn't even focus down the second Disruptor, and oh my god, what a wash. Holy cow. I thought that could have gone okay for the Masters player, but we saw a Disruptor with 8 kills, another with 5. All the Hydras are gone, the Lings just melt. The addition of the Archons perfectly timed for AlphaStar. Because, like, what? The army supply was 74 to 45, not bad, but he did attack up into multiple photon cannons, up a ramp, into Disruptors, didn't split at all. And alright, I guess that's GG, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and slap that like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Join the Discord, which is linked in the description. And if you do want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. You can get various perks there. We got emotes and things for when I do live stream every now and then. And I do apologize for the lack of live streams, by the way. Unfortunately, I'm working nights, so I can't really live stream at the time I like to. And so, it might just be like once in a blue moon, which I'll stream here and there. We'll see how things play out. I'm still getting back into regular routine. But yeah, thanks so much to everyone for watching. I'll see you next time. This has been LaughNgamez.